Hello everyone, it's Heather again. As you can hear, I'm feeling a lot more sort of like my old self. And before you is this, sorry I haven't done my nails, I haven't had time, but I've decided today to come before you as some kind of blue thing in, what's the word I'm looking for? In honour, in tribute to Jeffree Star, who, let's face it, I always speak fairly. And poor lad is having a hell of a time of it just now. He really is. He's lost about $2.5 million worth of stock to some thieves. And anybody who touches stolen stuff to me is just as bad as if you'd gone in there and taken it yourself. Do not touch stolen goods, because it doesn't make you feel good in the long run. Just don't touch it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the karma that comes with it. Right? Just wait for a sale to come on. Wait for it to come out a little bit cheaper. You know, because, you know, what's worth your conscience? What's worth being able to sleep at night? You know, from what I can gather, the girl Tessa Rollison, who, you know, initially sold the stuff, you know, apparently she's now in jail. She'll probably have to name the woman who supplied her. So hopefully they've got her in jail as well. And this will probably lead to the thieves and whoever took his stuff. Now, I've spoken about Jeffree in the past. I've said sometimes how unfair he can be. But on this occasion, you know, the launch was very important to him. And I do get it that when you work on something hard and, you know, you wait for your moment and then somebody takes it away from you. And that's got to be really, really hard. So my heart actually does go out to him. So I just thought today, in just a little bit of tribute, just to say, well, to be fair to you, Jeffree, I know you can be naughty at times, but this is one of those times where you need everybody's support. And I've never ever said I hated you. I said I didn't like what you did in the past. But on this occasion, I want to ask everybody, you know, just think about how this is affecting him. And if you look at it as well, how is it affecting his mental health? You know, he's worked on something so hard. He's been so focused on trying to get everything perfect. And then at the last minute, some absolute arsehole comes along and steals, you know, boxes and boxes of his new concealer. Which hasn't, I mean, we know what it looks like now. We didn't have to until that girl, you know, showed it off online. And in the end, what's it cost her? It's cost her being with her father. It's cost her being with her family. She's now in jail. Lord knows how long she's going to be there for. You know, she could get a very harsh judge. You could slam 20 years on her. What's it being worth it for a concealer? Not really worth it, is it? So I wanted to get that out of the way. And what I have done is I have put on, I can't remember now what the colours were called. There was a blue sparkly one and there was a mid-blue one and a pale blue one. And their colours will come back to me shortly. I do actually have the Blue Blood palette. I'll show it to you if you like. I've got it right here beside me. Excuse me for leaning over the way I do, but I've got it in the box there. This is mine, all paid for, by the way. And here it is in its box. That's the Blue Blood palette. And I'll be able to show you, if I can get it open, the colours that I use. It's a bonny little box, mind. It reminds me of a coffin a lot. I used, let me think now. This one, I'm cold. I used this one, Blue Blood. And I used this one, Ocean Ice. That's the dark blue sparkly one. So I only use, whatever base colour I used, Wealthy, on my eyes, I used that. In the process of doing all this, by the way, when I put my mascara on and I was using the Balm's What's My Type, which apparently is John McClane's favourite mascara, I poked it in my left eye, poked it right in my eye, so, and it's done nothing but sort of like get at me ever since and be perfectly bloody annoying. I also, for lipstick, I treated myself to this as well. This one here. Treated myself to that. And I used that one first, which is Titanic. And then I used this one here, which is called Ice Tray. So I used Titanic first. And then I put Ice Tray as like a bit of an ombre in the middle. But, you know, because I know I said I wasn't going to buy any more of this stuff, but you know what, I'm only human and they are so very, very pretty. So there you go. And if anybody wants to come to me and say, Heather, you said you'd never ever buy any more of his things. That is true. I did actually say that. I said I wasn't going to buy any more of his stuff. But I'm going to put my hands up and say, right, I am a human being. I have needs. I have wants. I have stopped smoking. And I thought, what can I treat myself to that makes me feel good about me? And the nicest things that I could think of when I said I was going to buy some more makeup. And then Jeffree introduced those. And I thought, do you know what? I'll tell you the full backstory. I defended a friend and went for Jeffree. That girl is now no longer a friend to me. I was dropped from a great height. So I feel as if I've been released from that now. And like I say, I'm only human. I saw it. It's really pretty. And don't get me wrong, if Jeffree fucks up again in the future, then I will say, Jeffree, you did wrong. You shouldn't have done that. But for now, the lad needs support. Not saying he needs my financial support. The lad's a multi-millionaire. You know, he's not going to miss my pennies or what have you. But I really like that stuff. And normally I would never go for blue, but those blues have just got me blown away. So anyway, that's what I've done. And am I being a hypocrite? I don't know. You tell me. If you think I'm being a hypocrite, then I will have to agree with you. Because I did say I wasn't going to buy any more of his stuff. Here I am buying it. But look, I'm only human. And I'm not going to pretend to be anything else. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was I've been looking a little bit more into the Leafy situation with regard to Eric of Driven Industries. And I went to listen to one of her live streams. It wasn't live at the time. I caught up with it when it had finished. And all I can say is that girl is mentally ill. She seemed to make an awful lot of Eric talking about TikTok. And all right, I wasn't initially in the initial stream, but I still feel that she shouldn't have called him a predator. That was wrong. She shouldn't have done that. But the girl, you know, she's just not well mentally. By our own account, she's had a mental breakdown this week. A partner who also has mental breakdowns. Both of them had therapy, and she says the only person that she can feel close to is a partner. So I think the best thing for us to do with Leafy is just to leave her alone. Just completely leave her alone. Let the situation just die right down and let it drop, you know. Now, speaking of situations where I said I was going to let things drop, excuse me. I said that I was never going to speak about a certain person again. Sorry, this cough is still persistent. And as you all know, we had April Fool's Day this week. And someone put out a video saying it was an apology to Prim Inc. for being a fraud and for being a drama channel. Well, it turned out that that post was an April Fool's prank. And then when Prim Inc. and others said that was in bad taste, the person was like, you know, what's the matter with you people? You've got no sense of humour. And then he then changed it to my apology to Gabby Hanna. And I looked at this stuff, and yeah, I'm going to mention him. It's Chris Boutte back again. And I've got to tell you, folk, he is just a waste of skin, that man. He seems to think that he can just laugh and walk on and pretend nothing has happened. He doesn't seem to understand that there are people still feeling raw, let down and hurt by his behaviour. He just doesn't seem to get it. He thinks that we are the ones are at fault. He said if it wasn't for, you know, the likes of drama channels, he's still blaming them. Drama channels and smaller creators making videos about him, then he wouldn't have faced the disasters that he has. And it's basically the fault of people like me who have made videos about him that's led to his downfall. No, he just doesn't seem to get it. He doesn't understand that his own behaviour has led to his downfall. But I've got to tell you, he is not taking people like you and like me seriously. He just isn't. He thinks that we should, you know, have our 5 minutes and then just move on. He seems to be treating it like one big joke. You know, where does he get off on telling us when we can start and when we can stop feeling raw about our mental health? You know, I didn't put any faith into the man, but I do know people who did. And they are still feeling raw, and they are still feeling let down, and they are still feeling upset. And they are still wondering who they can turn to for support. And they still feel as if they've been left high and dry by him. He's got nothing to say to these people. It's just a case of, well, you're going to have to move on and get a sense of humour. And if you don't understand my dark sense of humour, well, lent off. That's his attitude to everybody. And it's just not good enough. And all I can say to you is what I've said to you before. There are other free online therapists out there that you can talk to. You know, even people who have a good listening ear is better than Chris Boutte, who at his best is better than Chris Boutte at his best. Listening, just, you know, even if you just talk to me for half an hour. And I have no qualifications. I have nothing, you know, with regard to do with psychology or, you know, proper mental health studies or anything like that. I am just an ordinary human being. But I tell you, I've got more sympathy for you under my little fingernail than that man has in his whole body. So there are other people that you can turn to, but please don't go to BetterHelp, and please don't touch him with a barge pole, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth the hassle. It really isn't. It's got me all up in arms again. The feelings I've got of terrible rage against this man. So, you know, just steer clear of him. He seems to think that him losing subs is just one big joke and that he'll get them back. You know, this fall from grace, it just has not bothered him in the slightest. And I just, he just makes me feel sick to my stomach. He really does. So please, folks, just stay clear. Please don't go anywhere near him. You know, it's just not worth it. It's just, really, just is not worth it. Now, I wanted to end this particular short video, which I like to think was shorter than the other day, with somebody asked me about folklore. And apparently it turns out it's Folklore Thursday. Who knew? So I want to tell you there's a little bit of folklore today all about birds. And apparently there's one, I've got it up on my screen actually. Apparently barn owls have been the subject of many different superstitions. And apparently it was believed the way they shrieked was an omen of death. Or it was apparently thought that it was the sound of the souls in hell being tormented by Satan. And that's what apparently the owl was supposed to bring forward, was the sound of the souls in hell. But they were also associated with Athena, who was the Greek goddess of wisdom. So if you ever needed a little bit of like a light bulb moment going off in your head and you happen to see an owl flying by, that's a very, very good omen, apparently, from what I've been told. Apparently there was also some folklore about, I think it was ravens, and in the days of Odin and Thor, ravens would fly around, they would leave Odin's shoulder and they would fly around the land and then come back at lunchtime and sit back on either his shoulder or Thor's shoulder and give them all the gossip about what they'd seen in the kingdom. So, you know, a bit like drama channels in a way, you know, send them off, fly around, pick up the tidbits and come back and inform. Except these are the days before TV. So, who knew? All these different things, all amazing stuff. So, what do you think of this look that I've got on? Personally, I'm not sure. It's a long time since I've last worn blue. I don't know, I expect to have those colour lips when I'm dead, I would imagine. I would probably believe this is probably what I would have looked like if they'd found me on sort of the Fat Person's Guide to the Titanic. I think if I'd been sort of dredged up from the water, you would have been, you know, this is not the unsinkable Molly Brown. This is the very, very much sinkable Hedda Gold, you know, lying there going, help me, you know, and the waves are lashing around me. I'm going, you know, with my whistle, going, over here, what's your name, love? Hedda Gold, you're not on the list. Oh, I'm not having that. I normally you can't get in, but on this one, you've got to save me. You know, throw me a life belt. It looks like you've got 2 good life belts there. Sorry, can't help me. I need something for the neck up. See? Still can't get help. Even to this day, I still can't get help. Anyway, enough rubbish from me for 1 week, I think. I think I'll give you the rest of the weekend off before I chat to you again. In the meantime, take care. Look forward to the weekend ahead. I hope it's lovely, restful and peaceful for you. And I shall see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.